Welcome to BioWise with Aanchal. Thank you for all your love and support that you have subscribed my channel, and those who have not yet subscribed, you are requested to subscribe and then proceed with today's learning. Now today's lecture will be on tissues, plant and animal tissues, which is a very important chapter for standard 9, that is chapter number 3. Now the same chapter is there in standard 7 too, but the content is little bit limited. And in standard 9 we have the repetition of the same chapter. So let us proceed with the chapter tissues. Now tissues, what is a tissue? We all know that cell is a building block of living organisms. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. So what is tissue? Group of similar cells performing specific function is called tissue. So when the cells come together, they form tissue, and when tissue comes together, they form organ. When organ comes together, they form organ system, and too many organ systems combine together to form the organism. That is you or me, correct? The cell is the building block, finally leads to the formation of tissue, then organ system and organism. Now for example, if you have got a cell like neuron, suppose, okay. So neuron will combine to form the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue will all come together to form brain, spinal cord. They will make an organ system called the nervous system. Similarly, there is circulatory system, muscular system, integumentary system, digestive system, respiratory system. All will combine to form organism, that is human being or animals. Is that clear? So let us proceed with the plant tissue first. Now plant tissue is not that complex as we have it in the animal system. So plants generally have two specific kind of tissues. One is the actively dividing tissue, which is called meristematic tissue, and one is called the permanent tissue, which has lost its ability to divide and provides mechanical support, flexibility, and serve the function of conduction of nutrients, water, food. Like we have xylem for conduction of water, and phloem for translocation of food. Translocation and conduction, keep the words in mind, okay. For the function of xylem you have to write conduction of water, and for phloem you have to write translocation of food. So let us quickly have the classification of the plant tissue. So plant tissue. Plant tissue comprises of two broad categories. One is the meristematic tissue, and the next one is the permanent tissue. And this one is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is of three types. You have apical meristem, you have lateral meristem, and you have intercalary meristem. Okay, based on their location the name is being given. Now if suppose I have to draw a plant, okay, this is the structure of a plant. So the apical bud, that is the apical bud, contains apical meristematic tissue. The places where the branching happens, that is at the nodes, you have intercalary meristem. Okay. Apical meristem is present at the apical bud. Lateral meristem is present on the sides of the plant, which helps in increasing the diameter of the plant or girth of the plant, that is the secondary growth. So, apical meristem helps in the primary growth of the plant, which helps the plant to attain height. Lateral meristem helps the plant to attain width, or you can say the diameter of the plant, and intercalary meristem helps the plant to branch. So, intercalary is for branching, lateral is for increasing in the width or girth, and apical is to increase in height. You must have noticed that gardeners or even in the park you see the plants, they are very bushy, because there is a continuous process of pruning which goes on, that is they keep on cutting the tip of the plant. That means they keep on cutting the apical meristematic tissues present in the plant, which favors the growth of intercalary meristem. So, branching increases in those plants. You can try this at home. You can use a plant, you can keep on cutting the tip of the plant, you will find that it starts becoming bushy. Understood? Simple. Now, as we proceed with the video, there will be important questions that will be asked at the end of the lesson, and let me see how many of you have actually understood the entire concept. Any doubt, put it in the comment section. So, this is all about your meristematic tissue. Now, when we talk about the permanent tissue can be of three types. One is protective, that protects the plant. It includes epidermis or the epidermal layer. Now, epidermis is the outermost layer of any part of the plant, be it root, shoot, leaves. It has got the outermost layer which is called epidermal layer or epidermis. It contains water resistant material which is called cork. Okay, cork. It is used in sometimes in bottle lids. Similarly, the lateral meristem, there is one more word which is called cambium. So, difference between cork and cambium can be asked in the examination. Any doubt? Cork is a protective tissue and cambium is the lateral meristematic tissue. Then you have got the supportive tissue. Okay, supportive tissue. Supportive tissue contains three types of tissues. One is parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerechyma. Okay. Now, parenchyma is also called the packaging tissue. It is present in all the parts of the plant to fill in the gaps or fill in the spaces. Parenchyma is generally, when we have to talk about the characteristics, then just have a look, like meristematic tissue is actively dividing. So, obviously the cell wall will be very thin and the vacuole will be absent and the nucleus will be larger, and they are very small cells as they are always dividing. So, they are small cuboidal shaped cells that keep on dividing with thin cell wall, no vacuole and a large nucleus. Similarly, when you come to the permanent tissue, it is a meristematic tissue which loses its ability to divide and has become a permanent tissue, right. So, the epidermal layer will be very thick walled because it provides protection, and similarly when you come to, it provides protection. Supportive tissue, they have different shape and structures. They are basically filling up the plant body and they serve specific functions. The parenchyma are oval shaped cells with large intracellular spaces. They have vacuoles. They may contain chlorophyll. If a parenchyma cells contain chlorophyll, it is called chlorenchyma, and if the parenchyma cells contain air that helps the aquatic plants to float, it is called aerenchyma. So, chlorenchyma, chlorophyll, chlorenchyma and aerenchyma are the type of parenchyma cells. Similarly, when you talk about the collenchyma cells, they are having cell walls which have uneven deposition at the corners. So, thick corners they have and they provide mechanical support to the plant. Fine. Sclerechyma is generally dead tissue. It is having very thick cell wall which is lignified, that is lignin deposit is seen on the cell wall, and sclerechyma provides mechanical support to the plant. When you talk about sclerechyma, you will come across fibers and you will come across stone cells or sclerites. Now, stone cells, when you eat pears, you have that granular feeling in your mouth, that is because of the presence of sclerechyma. walnut, the outer layer of the walnut, it also contains Sclerechyma tissue. That is the reason we use walnut, that is outermost layer, we grind it and use it in facial scrub. There are so many scrubs available, right? So that is the Sclerechyma tissue which is present there, which is used for removing the dead skin, right, that in the scrubs. So this is all about supportive tissue. The last one is the complex or conducting tissue. Conducting tissue, we'll talk about the conducting tissue separately. Now conducting tissue, as you see that epidermis or parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, these are all simple tissues because they are made up of one kind of cell. But when you talk about the conducting tissue, it is a complex tissue, xylem and phloem. They are complex because they are made up of various other type of cells. Okay, so what you have to know is where are these things present and how it helps. What is the structure and the function of these cells? How can you differentiate? Like parenchyma, the intracellular space is it's too much. The meristematic cells are very closely packed. Similarly, collenchyma do not have much space, and even sclerenchyma, they have no space between the cells. So by looking at the slides and all, you will come to know what is parenchyma, sclerenchyma and collenchyma cells. Difference between chlorenchyma and collenchyma can be asked in the examination. So let us proceed with the conducting tissue. The complex tissues in the plant system, that is complex tissues. Complex tissue means they contain different types of cells. They are the conducting tissue, also called the vascular bundles. Conducting tissue, they form the vascular bundles. Vascular bundles present, it is centrally located in the plant. Vascular bundles are centrally located in the plant, and even the xylem and the phloem, they are centrally located in the plant in the pith region. Okay. Now when you talk about the conducting tissue, there are two types. One is xylem and the other one is phloem. Fur for phloem and fur is food. So the function of xylem is conduction of water and minerals. Conduction of water and minerals. And phloem, the function is translocation of food. Now always remember, the flow of water is always in one direction. So it has got unidirectional flow, and that in the phloem the direction is bidirectional flow. Okay. Bidirectional means the food can be, the direction of flow of the food can be from root to the stem or stem to the root. Generally the food is synthesized in the leaves by the process of photosynthesis, and the form of sugar is glucose. Later on the glucose gets converted to sucrose when it has to travel through phloem. And finally for storage, the glucose and sucrose finally gets converted to starch and gets stored in the plant body. It can be potato or even it can be sugarcane. Understood? This is how the difference between xylem and phloem is all about. Now since I called xylem and phloem complex tissues, they have different types of cells. What are the different types of cells? The first one is tracheids, vessels, then you have xylem fibers, and finally you have xylem parenchyma. In these all four cells, it is only the xylem parenchyma which is a living cell, rest all are dead cells. Now vessels and tracheids, they form the tube like structures which help in the transportation of water. Together they are called the tracheary elements. Okay. Similarly, when you talk about the phloem, phloem has also got four parts. That is your phloem fibers, which is dead. Okay. Then you have got sieve tubes, which helps in the translocation of food. It has got perforated covering, that is why it is called sieve tubes. Now sieve tubes gets its nutrition from the companion cells. So companion cells helps in providing nutrition, and it helps the sieve tubes to stay intact and work accordingly. Now that is the name given, companion. It is a companion to the sieve tube. And finally you have the phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. Is that clear? So these are the 4 parts of the phloem, and these are the 4 parts of the xylem. So this all you have to remember. This is very important, the difference, the function, and this is all about the plant tissue, right? There is a well explained notes given in the description. Download it and study, it will help. Okay. At the same time, there is also a Google form that is a test on tissues. So kindly solve the Google form, assess your understanding, right? It is going to help you children, and there is no cost involved. The only thing you have to do is like, share and subscribe my channel, right? After this plant tissue, we will talk about the animal tissues. Okay, so let me rub the board. Next we will talk about animal tissues. Now once we are done with the animal tissues, the most important part of this chapter is what are the different types of cells present in different tissues. There are few specific names that you must know, and at the same time you need to know what are the components of blood. Okay. So after we are done with animal tissue, the components of blood, types of cell and the important questions, and then we will conclude. Now animal tissue is having 4 types. Okay. What is the first? It is the epithelial cells. Now epithelial cells are the thin protective cell present all over your body. So generally it is thin and protective, and based on the structure it is of several types. The first one is the simplest, that is squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium is a basement membrane is there, and you have got hexagonal shaped cells present on the basement membrane. Okay, this is how the squamous epithelium is all about. Then you have stratified. Stratified means it's not a single cell thick, it has multiple layer of cells present. It has got multiple layer of cells present. So it is stratified. Okay. Then you have got cuboidal. Now as the name suggests, the cells are all cuboidal shape, right? They are all cuboidal shaped cells. Then you have got columnar cells. Okay, columnar is basically the shape is elongated cells. Okay, they are elongated cells, right? Now columnar cells can be of 2 types. It is ciliated, that is it has got cilia present, or it can be glandular, that is they release secretions. Is that clear? So when we talk about the squamous epithelial cells, it is present on the inner lining of your mouth, that is the oral cavity, nose, right, and your skin, that is your squamous epithelium. Stratified is also present on your skin and on your cornea, that is different layer of cells are present. Cuboidal epithelium is present on the renal tubules, kidney outer layer. Okay. Columnar epithelium, ciliated, is present on the respiratory tract as well as on the fallopian tube in females for the movement of egg. Okay. And the glandular is present in the liver, in the sweat gland, in any gland of your body. So you need to know the structure, how they look, how you can differentiate among themselves, where are they located, and what are the specific functions of these cells. So this is all about your epithelial tissue. Is that clear? Next one is the connective tissue. Next one is the connective tissue. Okay. Now connective tissue is of 3 types. The first one is connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper. Now connective tissue proper comprises of areolar tissue, adipose tissue, and the fibrous tissue. Fibrous tissue is again of two types. You have tendons and you have ligaments. Okay. Now, how will you remember the function of tendons and ligaments is very confusing, and what kind of fibers are present in it, that is much more confusing. So, now tendons, remember MTB, my textbook, that is muscle connects to bone by tendons, and ligament, remember bulb, BLB bulb. So, bone connects to the bone by ligament. Okay, so you'll remember that. Yellow has got L, so yellow fibers are present in ligaments, and white fibers, white T, white fibers are present in tendons. So, tendons has got white fibers, ligament has got yellow elastin fibers. Is that clear? So, this is your connective tissue proper. Areolar tissue is present in your skin, which provides elasticity to your skin. Then adipose tissue is the fat cells present all around your vital organs to protect your vital organs from any kind of mechanical shock or injury. At the same time, the adipose tissue also provides insulation to your body, preserves your body heat, right? Now, fibrous tissue, it's a connective tissue which connects bone to bone and bone to muscles. So, bone to muscles is tendons and bone to bone is ligament. Is that clear? The next one is the fluid connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue. Now, fluid connective tissue is again of two types, that is blood and lymph. We will talk about blood little later once we are done with this. And the last one is the supportive connective tissue, right? Supportive connective tissue. Supportive connective tissue is again of two types. You have bones and you have cartilage. Is that clear? Now, we have only talked about the two types of tissue. The third tissue that we have to talk about is the muscular tissue. So, for muscular tissue and the last one, the nervous tissue, I need to clear the board. Muscular tissue and the last one is the nervous tissue. So, for this I need to clear the board. Any doubt? Put it in the comment section. So, now we will talk about the muscular tissue and the nervous tissue that we have already discussed. You know that the 4 classifications are there. We have already discussed about epithelial, we have discussed about connective. Now, we will talk about the muscular tissue. Now, muscular tissue is again of 3 types. Okay. So, the first one is the striated muscle fibers, that is also called the skeletal muscles, and the function of these is voluntary. So, they are called voluntary muscles also. They are also called striped muscles. These are the specific names, different names given to the striated muscles. Then you have got smooth muscles, which is also called the unstriated muscles, also called involuntary muscles because they have involuntary functions, and it is also called unstriped muscles. And the last one is the cardiac muscle, right? Cardiac muscles. So, now when you see about the striated muscles, they are the muscles which have fiber like structures and they have got the striations of dark band and light band, dark band and light band, okay, and they have the this way, the arrangement is striped. So, you can see these are under your control. So when I have to say lift something, I have to fold my arms. So biceps, triceps, they are all under our control. Fine. So this is your striated muscles. Smooth muscles, when you have to see the structure, the smooth muscles have tapering ends and a larger nucleus. This is the structure of your smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are present in your esophagus, in your stomach, right? These muscles are not under your control. Then you have got cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles look like the striated muscles, but they are highly branched structures. Okay, so they are branch structures and they have striations similar to the striated muscles. They have striations similar to the striated muscles. So they look striated, but they function like the smooth muscles. So this is your different muscles, right? You should know the structure, how they look and what is their function. Function of cardiac muscles is the rhythmic contraction of your heart walls, right? Then smooth muscles, that is involuntary actions, your esophagus, peristaltic movement, intestinal movement, all are because of the smooth muscles. And the striated or skeletal muscles, that is under your control. So muscles present in your arms, in your legs, right? They are all striated muscles. The last one is the nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is also called the neural tissue. Okay. Neural tissue, we study only one kind of cell here, which is neuron, right? So this is the complete classification of the animal tissues. Fine. After this, we have only the components of blood, the structure of neuron that is left, and specific kind of cells that you need to know. So let me clear the board first. So next we will talk about the components of the blood. Now when we talk about blood, right, blood is what? It is a fluid connective tissue. Fluid connective tissue. Okay. Now blood comprises of two components. One is the liquid part, which is the matrix, that is plasma, and the other one is the cells, that is the corpuscles or the cells. Now cells are again of three types present in the blood. The first one is the erythrocyte, that is RBC. The second one is the leukocyte, that is WBC, the warriors, the fighters of your body. And the third one is thrombocytes, which is nothing but the platelets, which helps in the blood coagulation. Okay, platelets, that helps in the blood coagulation. RBC does not have a nucleus, does not have a mitochondria, does not have endoplasmic reticulum. I hope you remember the first chapter cell when we discussed about the composition of the cells. Then what is the important role of nucleus, mitochondria? The video is already uploaded. You can go through the same and then you can proceed with the next part. Okay, so I am not going in details of RBC now. Leukocytes, WBC, it is of two types. So when I have to classify that is WBCs, it is granulocytes, that is the cells containing granules. So there are three types of cells which contains granules. Okay, three types of cells which contains granules. What are those? The first one is neutrophils. The first one is neutrophil, second one is basophil, and the last one is eosinophils. Okay. As the name suggests that their cytoplasm is filled with granules and they have nucleus of different shape, that makes you understand or recognize these cells. Neutrophils N, so it has got numerous lobed nucleus. Okay. Basophil, that is bilobed nucleus, and eosinophil, E for ear, so it has got headphone shaped nucleus. We use headphones or earphones on our ears, so the E for ear, you remember that way. it has got headphone shaped nucleus, and since it is granulocyte, so cytoplasm has to be granulated. Is that clear? This is all granulated. If you don't draw the granules, you will not get the marks because it is granulocytes. Similarly, the other type of lymphocyte is that is absent, granulocytes, that is the cells in which the granules are absent. It is of two types. One is monocyte, that is the largest WBC. Monocytes contain kidney shaped nucleus. This is monocyte. And lymphocyte, it contains a very large nucleus. So, lympho L, large nucleus. So, it is lymphocyte. I will not go beyond this, but just for your information, lymphocyte is again of two types: T lymphocytes, that is tissue specific, T lymphocytes, and B lymphocyte, that is blood related. So, all antibodies are produced by B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes produce two types of cells, that is memory cells and plasma cells. Memory cells helps the B cells to keep record of what infection has happened. So, next time when the infection happens, the body can fight with it. And the plasma cells produce antibodies specific to the antigens. Okay. In AIDS to Health chapter, that is chapter 17, we will be talking about these again. Yes? Any doubt, put it in the comment section. So, next we will talk about the structure of neuron. Okay, neuron is important diagram. You know that we are doing it from 7th standard and it will continue till your 10th standard. So, now neurons, when you have to draw the neurons, the diagram is not difficult at all. Now, this is the diagram of a neuron. To label it, you have got dendrites, nucleus, node of Ranvier, right. Then this part is called the axon. This is called the cyton. Cyton is also called perikaryon. Karyon means nucleus, peri is periphery. So, around the nucleus, the structure present is called perikaryon. Axon, these are the axon terminals. Okay. So, this is the structure of the neuron. Diagram can be asked in the exam. Diagram for 1 mark and label can be of 2 marks. So, 2 correct labels and 1 neat diagram. Axon terminal, then you have got some Nissls granule, right. Then you have got, these are the Schwann cells, and this Schwann cells forms the myelin sheath. So, this is your neuron diagram. Okay. Be thorough with the diagram. Diagram can be asked. The main function of neuron is conduction of nerve impulse. Do not miss it, conduction of nerve impulse. So, they are like the electrical circuit of our body. Is that clear? So, this is all about the entire tissue system, that is plant tissue and the animal tissue. There are certain cells that I have told you earlier that I will ask you some important questions. Now, the important questions may include about the different types of cells present. For example, name the cell present in the bones. Okay. Now, bone structure, if you see, it is a matrix which has got concentric ring like structures. It seems as if there is a well and there is the spiders moving in concentric circles. Okay. Now, that concentric circles are called the Harvesian canals, and the cells present in the bone is called osteoblasts and osteocytes. Similarly, for the cartilage, the bone present is chondrocytes. Name the cell present in the adipose tissue, adipocytes. Okay. This is all that you have to remember. Be thorough with the chapters. See to it that you know the structure, function, location of all the types of tissues, whether it is plants or animals. With this, I'll end. Thank you so much. Happy learning, children.